The Stacker 200 presented by Y.J. Stinger at Dover International Speedway. A track opened in 1969. It's hosted the NASCAR Busch Series ever since the division was formed in 1982. Kasey Kahne is out in front of this race, second driver to lead. He has paced so far 11 of the 31 laps that have been completed. His lead on Martin Truex growing to 2.3 seconds. Truex, the championship leader, running second. We check the AC Delco points as they run, with Kyle Busch falling back to 5th. And Truex having led a lap today, Busch not having led a lap today. That's 25 points handed on to Truex's advantage just in these opening laps.
And Kyle Busch seems to be having all kinds of problems. He keeps losing positions. He's now back to 5th, about 9 seconds behind the leader, Kasey Kahne.
And struggling.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe Marty can tell us what's the problem. Marty?
Yeah, Wally, more importantly, he's losing time on the racetrack to the leaders. He came on the radio about 15 laps ago and said it got bouncy too quick. It's very rough out here. I asked Lance McGrew, do you have a problem with the shocks yesterday? He said, no, we haven't had anything like this, so I don't really know what he's talking about or really how to fix it, but this is a very rough racetrack.
Well, it's probably warmer now than it's been since these cars have been on the racetrack, and it could be air buildup in the tires as in the higher temperature, because as they run laps, the air pressure in the tires will build, and on this concrete racetrack, it's like driving down a concrete highway sometimes when it's uneven.
And by doing that, it's more spring rate in the car, so it's going to make the car more bouncy.
Let's go on board with Kyle Busch and see what the view is like from behind the wheel of this low Chevy.
Best thing to do is listen to how he works the throttle. That really tells you how a car is working.
And you see Michael Waltrip, the yellow car, right behind Kyle Busch as they go by Tina Gordon.
Boy, you can hear he's really playing with that throttle. He can't get aggressive with the gas. When you start picking up the gas, you want to get after it as fast as you can, and he's not able to do that.
And by the way, just so you know, with all of the onboard cameras here at Dover, they built 2 bridges across the racetrack into the infield. One for access in and out of the garage areas. Another they're using, it's basically a hospitality suite, and that interferes with the signal from the cars up to the helicopter that acts as the satellite for the onboard cameras. So
we got away with that one.
That one wasn't bad at all. But right now, the spotter is telling Kyle Busch, you have a faster car behind you. As Michael goes in the corner, he goes up the racetrack and gives Michael the groove, because being second in the NASCAR Busch Series points, as slow as he is, he can't do anything stupid.
But he's got a long way to go. 50-some laps before he gets in there and can correct that problem. So he's losing a lot of time on the racetrack right now.
So Kyle back to 6th position, and he's over 9 seconds behind the leader, Kasey Kahne. Kahne moving up on Casey Atwood to try and put him a lap down.
And I'm shocked. As well as Casey Atwood ran at Richmond, I thought he would be a threat here, but already a lap down just in the few laps.
That's the 28th place car that's gone a lap down.
38 laps.
Also put a lap down, Mike Wallace, Shelby Howard, Stan Barrett, Kevin LePage, Gus Watson, Curtis Davis, Derek Cope, Justin Labonte. Fast pace in the opening laps for the leaders, Kasey Kahne and Martin Truex Jr. 40 laps in through the field when we come back to Dover. Dover International Speedway and the Stacker 200 presented by Y.J. Stinger for the NASCAR Busch Series live on TNT. Kasey Kahne is out in front of Martin Truex Jr. by half a second, with Mike McLaughlin, Kevin Harvick, and Michael Waltrip now making up the top 5. Waltrip passing Kenny Wallace a lap ago. Let's take you through the field, update you on all the front runners. Dave Burns is first.
Kasey Kahne was very happy with his car earlier, but on lap 33 he radioed to his crew that the nose is sliding and that he can't turn down. That may be a problem as he goes through traffic. 8-car Martin Truex Jr. trying to pressure in second, but he radioed in on lap 25 that his car is sliding the nose, also making it very hard to pass. Matt?
Mike McLaughlin working on his first top 5 since a 3rd place finish at Atlanta in October 2002. He says the car was tight earlier in the race. Now he says it's also loose on entry. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick hasn't said one word on the radio yet. Tried for his first Dover win. Meanwhile, Michael Waltrip, he has hasn't said a word on the radio either. His team says that is extremely good news. When he doesn't say anything, that means the car is working well. He's in 5th. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace trying to end a long winless streak dating back to a great run he had at Rockingham in 2002. He runs in 6th. The car was both loose and tight. Dave?
The 2-car Ron Hornaday started way back in 18th place. He's made it all the way up to 7th right now. Ron, they worked very hard on getting the car good from the center of the corner off. Seems that they've accomplished that. Marty?
Dave, the march continues for Mark Martin from 17th to the 8th position, trying to look underneath Ron Hornaday. Car started out good, getting a little bit tight. Mark has called for an air pressure and wedge adjustment on the first stop. Dave?
Greg Biffle up to 9th from 21st position, radioing in that his car is just a little bit loose, but obviously handling very well for Greg right now. Marty, back to you.
And the opposite story for Kyle Busch, continuing to go backwards in the field. Started 4th, currently 10th. He said, I need more overall grip. The front end just won't stick right now. Matty?
And running in the 11th position is Casey Mears, making his 7th Busch Series start in 2004. He's calling for a track bar adjustment. He says no grip. He wants to raise the track bar on their first stop, Marty.
Johnny Sauter finished 10th here in June. That was after he wrecked. Same car this weekend. Car a little bit tight right now. Mike Bliss is in the 12th position, or 13th position rather, started 12th. He is a little too tight as well. He's at on lap 25. He's had 2 top 10s in his last 3 Dover starts. Jason Keller, 2 tight from the center off. The former Dover winner just can't get the car to cut from the middle of the corner off. Tony Raines having a nice run from 24th up into the top, towards the top 10. His car is tight as well. They finished 12th here in June. The car a little bit too tight for Tony Raines. Tim Fedewa also tied off. This racetrack obviously very tight here at Dover. He has a new crew chief this weekend, Steve Plattenberger. Those two working very well together. Also the 37 car of David Green radioing in that he as well is too tight. They have a new sponsor this week, United States Postal Service, hoping for more than one race out of those guys. Matt?
Paul Menard runs in the 18th position, just trying to make that race car better, trying to score a top 10 finish. Marty?
We found a race car that's loose, Matt. That was Stacy Compton about 15 laps ago. Now his car is a little too tight. The best Stacy has ever finished here at Dover is 12th. Currently, he's in the 19th position.
All right, there are the lead lap cars, 19 of them, and that's it. A quarter of the race, and Casey Kane is lapped beyond 20th place.
A lot of tight race cars.
And it looks to me like that Martin Truex, the 8 car, who's running 2nd, is struggling now, because here he is, and the other red car right behind him is Mike McLaughlin.
You know what? I think because Casey Kane can work the high side so much better than anyone else, he can get by the traffic faster, and I don't think the 8 car can do that. He needs to work down on the bottom. He wants to pass these guys on the bottom, and Casey Kane just drove around outside of him, and away he went.
Double wide lap cars again in front of the leaders, and those lap cars not racing for position. One is 1 lap down, the other 2 laps down. So Truex looking for some running room there to slice through the traffic. All Casey Kane so far, better than a quarter distance into the Stacker 200 presented by YJ Stinger at Dover. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.